What is up, everybody? It's Peace-Eye. Welcome to another video. Guess who just took an updated Lightsworn runick stun deck to locals? It was me. What? Let's get into the updated 40-card deck profile. All right. So, first off,
that was quite the fight. It sounded like there were a lot of bricks in there.
Well, you play a ton of bricks. All right, one Dragonling. I only own one, but that's okay. You don't also own a Dispatter, so you're never making Dispatter, so you just don't play it. Just play the one. Budget. Next up, 3 Weiss, 3 Wolf, 3 Fellas. So this package, 10, really strong. You also play the 3 Charge of the Light Brigade, so it's basically like you're playing 13. Also, shout out to the 1 of Medora. I was also playing Keldo, but I decided to cut it to get down to 40. All right, and that's all the monsters in the entire deck.
Oh.
And next up, 3 Charge of the Light Brigade.
Whoa, buddy.
Yeah, look at these mismatched rarities. Shout out to Rarity Collection. I was playing commons. Shout out to Yuri and Ricardo for the upgrades. But that's the only Lightsworn spell we play. We got a lot of runics, so let's get into it. So 3 tip, search anything, banish 1, the negate a monster, the pop a monster, the pop a spell and trap, the protect something or make something not attack, and then the 3 one-ups, dispelling, Smiting Storm, and Droplet. So yeah, we play a lot of names, 20 to be exact, including the 2 Fountain to keep on drawing 3 cards. I resolved this about 3 or 4 times a turn to full combo, so you're drawing like 12 cards in the combo. But you can see the combos in the videos that I just posted from the locals that I took this deck to tournament. Anyway, this wouldn't be a stun deck without a bunch of floodgates.
Oh my god.
So TC Boo does not hurt you at all in this list because of the different monsters that you're summoning. I'll get into the extra deck later, but everything's a different type, and you climb through stuff, and your opponent can't play, especially if they're on Tempai or something like that. Next up, Synchro Zone. This is good against everything except for other synchro decks. Whoa. But you end on a bunch of synchro monsters and your opponent cannot attack at all until they out this, which is really strong. And then finally, it's a stun deck. 3 main deck skill drain.
I will draw my floodgates.
I will simply draw them. Just do not let your opponent do anything unacceptable. So that's the main deck, 40 cards. Next up, fusions. We just have the 4 runics. So 2 Hugin and then 2 Gary. So you can actually loop Gary back into your extra deck with a couple of different cards in the deck and the main the extra deck. And neither of these effects are once per turn. So you search out your 2 fountains, and then you keep on looping them and synchroing them off to free up your extra monster zone, which is why you're able to activate your runic fountain several times in a turn in order to draw into your floodgates.
Bro, you're cracked. You're so cracked.
I like to change stun decks into combo decks. Anyway, synchro monsters. So we have Tri-Edge Master, Synchro 6, draw a card. Coral Dragon, Synchro 6, when it goes to graveyard, you draw another card. Minerva. So this is our first level 8 synchro. So you make it with 2 Lightsworns, so you can dump 2 Lightsworns, and then you can banish 4 Lightsworns to mill 4 more cards in your deck. So what the runic decks have trouble with is actually getting a bunch of runic spells into the graveyard so that you can plus off a fountain. That does not happen in this deck because you have a very strong, consistent mill engine to put the runic cards into your graveyard in order to draw 3 cards instead of drawing 1 or 2 cards. Very strong. Omega.
Whoa,
shout out to the
bro.
QCR. This is from my entry pack from the Rarity Collection tournament. Yeah, I'm cracked. Chengning, which is really strong, and then Chaos Angel. So usually you're ending on these 4 boss monsters, and you make this with the light and the dark. You make this with your Gary and your Tri-Edge Master, so it protects the rest of your synchro boss monsters from monster effects, and they can't be destroyed by battle, which is really strong.
Kind of insane.
Yeah. People, when I make the board, people scoop to it. Next up, some Xyz. Now this has changed a bunch, but Dugaris. So any 2 level 4s is either a Monster Reborn, double your attack, which we never use because we're playing Runic, but the thing that we use the most is skip your draw phase and draw 2 cards, discard 1. So you're drawing into your Runics. It's so good. We like to draw cards a lot. So you play Daigusto Emerald, recycle your Garys into your extra deck, and then draw a free card, then make Gary again, add back your Fountain, do it all over again.
We're drawing cards, buddy.
We are drawing cards today. I really hope they don't put Fountain to 1, because that would kill this strategy. Shout out to Konami. Next up, Baguska. So this is what you do when you get shifted, okay? You don't want your runic spells being banished. and your Lightsworns can't do diddly. So what you do is you make Maguska and you pray.
Can't do diddly.
Diddly squat. So plan B comes in sometimes. All right, next up, obviously, we would have to play something new from Legacy of Destruction.
What is this
Shout out
card?
to Haggard Lizard Dose. So it's any 2 monsters, including a token, as long as they have different names. So it's like a nightmare monster. When it's on the field, you can banish it or any other monster. You want to banish itself so that you can use its special ability and get it out of the extra monster zone so you can summon more runicks, because the runicks only summon to the extra deck. But basically, this lets you draw 1 card, changing any 2 monsters into a draw 1. So when I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs with these 2 on the field, I link them off for this, banish it, draw a free card, and my extra monster zone is cleared. That's
You're
what
insane.
Thank you. It works great. I love it. And then finally, shout out to Team Bad Cards, SP Little Knight.
Whoa, buddy, that's not budget.
It's a great boss monster. All right, next up, extra deck, or side deck. So we do play a couple extra deck monsters. So Moonin is really cool for the end of match procedures because every end phase, you gain 1,000 life points. Gaga Cowboy, he's just great for attacking people, nothing else. Anyway, continuing on with cards that happen to alter life points, we have 2 Lava Golem for tributing over my opponent's board. Pretty broken. Next up, just for those pesky floodgates, honestly, the only thing that you lose to...
OT.
Yes, I pulled this from the OTS 24 pack. Shout out to Konami. Thank you, guys. But this is basically for if your opponent's on... The only floodgate that you lose to is Imperial Iron Wall. I think it's called.
Anti-spell.
You can't banish? No, I can out anti-spell by setting my Runick Destruction and then flipping it over the next turn. I go Baguska and then pass. Next up, Runick Allure. So this is for your slower matchups that you really need to speed up your deck out. Every time a quick play card is activated, including your opponents, like if they activate Widow Anchor or Called by the Grave, they banish 1 card from their deck. It's searchable by your Hugin.
Whoa.
Or Moonin. So Moonin
Whoa.
searches this. Pretty cool. Next up, more Floodgates. Dimension Fissure. This should be main deck, but no. Goes in and Rivalry. Certain matchups just lose to this, so you bring those in. Next up, 2 of the Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. Really strong. I decided to go with 2 Curse
What are
Seal
you doing?
of the Forbidden Spell.
What are you
Because you
doing?
always have spells in your hand to discard, and then the rest of their Cosmic Cyclones are dead. Once you activate this on their Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone, any multiple card, or even their Branded Fusion, they cannot activate Branded Fusion for the rest of the duel. Do you understand that?
You could tell me this is just a Mystic Mind profile from 2020.
I took inspiration from a lot of different decks. And then 2 Solemn Judgment.
Wow.
Yes. So now, really quick before we end the deck profile, I've got a couple of honorable mentions over here. So let's go ahead and go over here. So Minerva, you don't play enough names to play Minerva anymore. Raiden and Gareth, these are just cope. Like, you don't need these. The other ones are the good ones. Unfortunately, you can't play these anymore. This is no longer a link strategy. These would be broken because this new card can actually send 2 to grave. So you send your Weiss and either this or the other one, you get to use Weiss's effect to special summon this. Then you use Minerva's effect to banish from graveyard, so you always have a target for this to special summon back. You have infinite link material for that. But we opted not to play that. And then also Baby Minerva, you can normal summon this to search your big dragons. This is like $30 for some reason, I don't know why. Solar Recharge, I had to cut it. We only play 10 main deck names. So I'm really sorry about that, guys, but I just wanted to explain that. This card is crazy. I really wish I could play it. If it goes from your deck to the graveyard, you get
draw
to set
that
it
card
for free.
all the time. You draw it all the time.
So you just, I really wish I could play it, but unfortunately, you don't. The 3rd Lava Golem, the Keldo. Now, this is interesting. So you can also play a small tier package. So Sharon is really good to get those nasty bricks out of your hand, mill 3 cards, special summon itself. If it does go to the graveyard, you can recycle one of your fusion monsters to make a Draco Stapelia, which is a level 8 body that you can synchro with your Hugin to make Chaos Angel.
Whoa.
It's just broken. There's so much energy, but I just couldn't find the room. You can also make Redoer to activate your Sharon. You can also make zombie vampire and this with your other monsters, and this is a level 2 that you can synchro with. Like, there's so many options that you can do with this deck. I just wanted to showcase that I did try other stuff. Planet Pellerino, you can search it off your Amritara. Now, these cards are consistency cards. The Instant Fusion can actually bring out any of your runick monsters in the main monster zone, and they're properly fusion summoned, so you can bring them back with Dugaris if that comes up. I decided that I really wanted to play 40, so I did not play Instant Fusion, but I might try it in the future. Terraforming can get your fountain.
You're
Cauldron of
cooking
the
too
Old
hard.
Man.
You're cooking too hard.
I'm really cooking too hard. Cauldron of the Old Man. I have a problem with time with this deck. I actually lost in time twice this tournament.
Sad.
So sad. So you need something for time. Just the rest of the dimensional fissures, the solemn judgment, and then finally, this is something very strong that you can make consistently. It's just that in this deck, when you're setting skill drain, it's not a very good payoff. But having a monster negate and take is very strong in this format. That can't be negated or destroyed or whatever like that. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the theory and the video. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe.